You're listening to Comic Reflections, episode 123. I'm your host, Nicholas Prom.
And I'm Jeff Arnott, one of the unthinking, unrelenting, faceless ones. Which we'll see later.
Yes, very soon. Comic Reflections is brought to you by Rhymes with Geek. You can check out our show, plus plenty of other cool podcasts like the all-new Anti-Fanboy, Feeded Comics, and Superhero Speak at rhymeswithgeek.com. And if you enjoy our show, please subscribe to us on either iTunes or Stitcher.
All right.
Okay, so let us begin. The first comic we've got to talk about today is the Submariner Special number 2. And this reprints some Namor stories from Tales to Astonish. The first of which being When Fails the Quest from Tales to Astonish number 74. Written by Stan Lee. Penciled by Gene Colan and inked by Vince Colletta.
Oh, okay.
What?
It's
just is that too much?
No, it's not. That's
a little long-winded, maybe.
No. It's I love Namor, but I didn't like this one. I like the plot, but it's just drawn so badly. It's very golden agey.
I think. Let's talk about this, because I don't think this is the... Let me put it this way. This is an odd way to start out, but people often complain quite a bit about Vince Colletta's inks.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm a big fan of Gene Colan, but he needs the right inker. And Vince Colletta, his stuff is often kind of rushed as an inker, and it doesn't have like the flourishes or really darken things up as much as they ought to, and it kind of gums up the works. And it's so some great artists can be mediocre or not so happening at all. Like Coletta's inks on on Kirby kind of like they're hit or miss.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so even the dynamic Kirby stuff can be like just so for Kirby. With Colletta. But sometimes he's great. He's really inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
So
I really didn't like Namor's face in this.
Okay.
It's very primitive and
but
not in the good way.
Right. But even that, me lumping the blame on Colletta, I don't think this is Gene Colan's best work by far. And I love Gene Colan, but
and it's too bad. It's a heck of a story.
Yeah.
And the writing's fine. So
why don't we talk about it?
Yeah. Okay. Namor is fighting the faceless ones.
Right.
And
they have the Lady Dorma captive, don't they?
Yeah, she's in a plastic protective thing, and I'm not sure what's going on with that.
Right.
We're getting to this late in the show, so
right.
She can breathe in the water. Is this some of the protector from the?
I think it's the protector from the faceless ones, who are cool looking, and there's just just an endless horde of them.
It's okay. I've just been watching BlizzCon this week, and one of the things you have different spells. You have individual spells, and you have AOE area of crying out! I forgot what it is. But it's you can fight more than one person at one time with one spell.
Okay.
Superman has this. He can use his clap or his super breath. He can get rid of a bunch of bad guys. But Namor, all he has is his fist.
Yeah.
And that's actually all he does. And super swimming speed. And
Namor does have super strength, and he can fly with the gills on his feet. They look like wings, but they're gills.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, but when he's on the surface, he flies. But yeah, you're right. Namor doesn't have powers.
Area of effect. That's what it's called.
What is
area of effect?
But anyway, Namor doesn't have a range of powers that really keep him from, or that allow him to dispatch a number of villains or foes at one time.
Okay, we have. Oh, it is cool that all these nameless ones are attacking.
Yeah, and they look great.
Faceless ones. I don't know why I want to call them nameless.
Because you're thinking of the Doctor Strange things from a week
That's
ago.
right.
A couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
But the faceless ones, I love this is one of Gene Colan's greatest strengths is action, and he renders this terrifically. He stages this with great verve, and he's actually a good choice to draw Namor in action. I just wish they'd have gotten a better inker than Vince Colletta.
He does bodies well.
Yeah.
Namor's body looks great.
Yeah.
Dorma's body looks boomy.
As it should.
Yeah. All right. So we got this guy named Krang.
Yeah, General Warlord Krang.
He took over Atlantis.
Yeah, he's a usurper.
And kicked Namor out. I guess he was the general in charge of...
This guy, Warlord Krang, was one of Namor's most trusted allies. But he was scheming in the background like a jerk and waiting for the time that he could overtake Namor, and I think try to get the Lady Dorma for himself also.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that.
I have no idea how Lady Dorma found herself in the predicament she's in.
Right.
All right. Namor is on a quest given to him by Neptune to get the Trident.
Oh, okay.
The Trident of Neptune.
Oh, right, because the Trident of Neptune means he is like the once and forever future king of Atlantis. So it's a big deal to have it.
So, Krang, I love the name. He is telling everybody in Atlantis, I'm in charge and don't fight me. And here's this old guy. And what is his name? Vashti.
Oh, yeah. He later becomes Lord Vashti.
Is it Vashti?
Yeah.
Okay.
Spoilers, but later.
Yeah, okay.
Krang kind of is like he's bald and he's mustachioed. He's kind of like a blue Ming the Merciless.
Yeah, it's very good. He's got a cool metal armor, though.
Yeah.
All right, so he brings, this robo-tank with a robo-tank driver, which is
it looks like a very DC Comics robot.
Yeah, and a bad DC Comics. I mean, it's the least threatening robot since Tweaky. So it is meh. And the tank is meh. It's just, I don't know, it looks like a fat Buick or something. I don't know. I'm just disappointed.
The Buick from beyond the depths of... I'm going to be verbose here, but... So anyway.
So Vashti, he rides a seahorse, which is cool as all get out.
Riding a big old seahorse is just, it's always cool, even though you think it would be stupid. Doesn't matter if it's Namor or if it's Aquaman, but seahorse riding is neat.
Yep. Alright, so...
I want to ride a seahorse.
I do too.
Like a big one, though.
Yeah.
Not a little. I couldn't ride a little one.
So Namor's kicking butt, but it doesn't help. Every time he knocks out one of these faceless ones, 10 come up, and it's kind of, you would think that he would know that he's going to fight these kind of people, so he'd get some kind of a bomb or a ray beam or something.
But you never see Namor really use devices. It's always his just bare knuckle brawling.
Yeah, or when he watches TV, he invariably destroys it. Yeah. Very golden agey faces. It's really, if you told me this is done in 1945, I was, okay. But it is the modern Namor that looks like the golden age Namor.
Interesting. But yeah, this is a Silver Age, but at least the stories. But
although for me, the Silver Age is the golden age. But for me,
yeah, and I would tend to agree with you. I mean, the Silver Age is my favorite period in comics.
Yeah. All right. So the faceless ones are trying to get the plastic off of Dorma, and they get it off, and it explodes and almost kills her. So he has to take her back.
Namor does.
Yes. And
ends with a cool splash page of Namor carrying Lady Dorma, and he still has to, get out.
And a vast horde of faceless ones.
Yeah. They must have some kind of, heightened perception of other senses, because they don't have faces. But then how do they eat? Weird. Endless questions. Maybe they're magic and it doesn't matter.
Right. Or it's a comic book.
Oh, yeah. So the next part of this story is called The End of the Quest, and it's reprinted from Tales to Astonish number 75. Stan Lee wrote it, penciled by Gene Colan, and inked by Vince Colletta.
Yeah, is that the same as...
It's the same creative team throughout this whole issue.
Yeah, with fake quotes over, or scare quotes over creative team.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, well. It's a shame, because this is a really good story, and it's interesting, but man, it's just sort of, I can't get over how amateurish it looks.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah. All right.
Of course, I would rather have a so-so drawn comic that's well written, than a well written, or excuse me, than a great looking comic that's like, what a crap story.
And yeah, that too, like effects in movies, I don't really care about, and as long as the story is good.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's nothing wrong with the prequel Star Wars, except for the story's awful and the writing's bad. Everything else is gorgeous.
Well, yeah, no, they look all right. I'm still a guy who would have loved to have seen practical effects rather than all that CG.
Yeah, I think CGI is so easy to do that they overdo it.
And it was still so new when they started doing those prequels that it's some of the worst and fakest looking CG that there is. And CG always looks fake. You know it's not real. But a practical effect, it looks like a real guy walking into a room that you're fighting. And I kind of want to see Hollywood move away from, hey, let's do everything on a green screen. You know?
Yeah. Although the story is paramount. If the story is good, that doesn't matter. Everyone complains about the original Star Trek series. Oh, the effects are bad. I think they're fine. And I enjoy watching them because the story.
They have great characters and great, with a great ensemble cast and great dynamic between those characters and great human drama.
Yeah, the characters are interesting as opposed to the Next Generation, which I find the characters to be dull, except for Worf, who's interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people that I know really love Star Trek: The Next Generation more, and I'm like, it's okay, but no, I mean the original Star Trek is untouchable.
Yeah,
to me, I mean.
Okay, so this old guy appears, and going back to Namor, and I thought it was the old guy, but no, it's Neptune.
Oh yeah,
and this confused the devil out of him because the old guys look the same; they got white beards and all that.
Sure.
So Namor was supposed to get the trident. He instead went to Dorma, and so he failed the quest. And now he says, well, I messed up, but I had to go save my girl.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry I messed up the quest. And Neptune says, oh, that's okay. You won because you sacrificed yourself because you were not going to win against the faceless ones.
Right. So Namor triumphs anyway because he's a real hero. He gave up the opportunity for his own glory to save the woman he loves. And that was the real test, and so he is going to be the king, even though we'll always still call him Prince Namor.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Because it just always sounds cooler.
Yeah, King Namor, Prince Namor. Yeah, Prince does sound better. Usually it doesn't, but
because his whole history for decades, be it the Golden Age and much of the Silver Age, he was firmly established as Prince Namor. And then once he becomes the king, you're like, okay, this is a hard shift to handle.
Right.
But even once he's called King Namor, he just refers to him as Namor, Prince of the Blood, you know.
Yeah, so he's got to save Dorma, and the old guy is coming along too. He gives him a task as well.
Is this Neptune or?
Oh, the old guy, the
Vashti.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. He's going to carry. Vashti carries the trident.
Namor asks him to because he has to carry Lady Dorma back to Atlantis to try and save her.
And he tells him to stay back because he's going to go so fast that he'll hurt himself if he tries to follow.
In his wake, yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Well, and it's also lets us know, hey, Namor is super fast swimmer. So
yeah, but Krang. Have these troops ready for him.
Lying in wait.
Yeah. They try to shoot him, but of course they miss. And so Namor says, "Oh, if somebody hits Dorma, it'll kill her." So he just barrels through, and I guess they have a minimum range. If they shoot at a certain range, it'll hit them. So because of the blast, that area of effect.
Yes.
So he just goes through and tells them to go tell Krang Namor's on the way. So Namor comes, and here comes a tank.
Yeah.
Oh god! So he gets hit by a tank, but he thinks he may. He's okay, but he thinks he may not be next time. So he destroys the tank. Did you have any doubts?
Right.
All right. So he takes Dorma to a tanning bed, which looks like a tanning bed, but it's some.
It's like a med bay that's gonna help her or something. So.
But Krang is right behind him, and if you hit, I don't know. If you turn it on while both people are there, it'll kill them both. But Namor's not having any of that. He takes the trident and knocks his hand off or away from the device. Then a big fight occurs.
Okay, so in the third and climactic chapter of this story is called Uneasy Hangs the Head, reprinted from Tales to Astonish number 76. Stan Lee wrote it. Gene Colan and Vince Colletta did the art.
Is it the same people?
Yeah, same creative team throughout.
All right. Dorma looks very fetching on the tanning bed.
Right.
So, all right, big fight. Namor's kicking butt.
Yeah, he beats the crap out of Krang, and it's pretty satisfying.
Yeah, it is. Krang deserves it. Gets smashed up.
Yeah, I mean, he was a schemer, a conniver, but obviously, clearly not that formidable a combatant against Namor.
All right, and Namor wins, and then they have a nice parade. And actually, the parade is beautiful.
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
And the Lady Dorma is healed, right? She's okay.
Right. Looks that way. Yeah. Now the prize is truly won. Says
Yay! Namor. And so there's a big celebratory parade, and Namor has a coronation.
Yeah. Dorma looks nice with her crown. Namor does not. What a goofball crown. And the trident looks stupid.
It kind of does.
It looks like you would make that for your high school play.
Yeah.
It's got rubies and stuff like that.
It looks really impractical as a trident. I mean, like, I want a trident that you would take into battle, you know?
Yeah, I mean...
Something more kick-ass.
Yeah. So he nominates... Let's see.
Vashti, who would help him
Vashti, and,
to be his Grand Vizier. And that's a dynamic that would remain for, a while.
Yeah, Krang is just thinking about revenge. He's in jail. And they get him out, and he's banished, which is a bad move, Namor. You think he'd be wiser than that.
You would think, but Namor has all this nobility and regal ways he carries and presents himself, but he's also brash and has the fire of youth in him, even though, we don't know how long he's been alive.
Right.
So, but yeah, he banishes, rather than execute Krang for treason, he just banishes him, which is, he gets away to scheme and plot, which he begins doing immediately. So. Yeah,
and then here comes an earthquake, and it kind of messes the party, and Namor thinks that it's the Earth people doing it. There are nuclear explosions.
Yeah,
and
the surface people.
Yeah, don't you think that the military said, well, let's not nuke around Namor's path. That'd be... let's not tick this guy off.
They may not take him seriously, or they may not know the location of Atlantis. You know what I mean? It may be sort of secret.
Well, they got to know at least what ocean he's in.
Well, right.
And I would think, I have the suspicion he's in the Atlantic.
Sure. Hence Atlantis.
Right. Plus, the Greeks knew about him. They would less likely know about Atlantis if it was in the Pacific. Right. So just do all your stuff in the Pacific.
Right. So,
all right.
Very interesting.
Good story, badly drawn.
Oh.
So say Jack.
But I love Gene Colan. I do. I just do. I don't.
Okay.
I don't want to end that on a
Oh, okay.
putting the stink on him because I think he's wonderful.
Okay.
But it was not his best stuff.
All right.
So.
Oh man, you can't make bricks without straw.
Right, and let me tell you, I love Gene Colan's Daredevil, and it'll be great when we get around to Daredevil again.
I like Daredevil. So.
Yeah, and we've looked at some Gene Colan Daredevil in the past. It's good stuff.
Okay.
But so the next issue we've got to talk about, this is interesting. It's Supernatural Thrillers, number 15, and it's the final issue of this series, and it shows.
Oh yeah.
Because this series centered around what is it? What's his name? Nakantu, the living mummy. Now, okay, but this issue kind of suffers from that last issue syndrome of the powers that be at the company say, hey, we're canceling the book, wrap it up in the next issue, and so they cram too much into one, and it's just kind of
confused.
Narratively it's a mess because it's just trying to wrap up loose ends or clearly an arc that would go on for several more issues.
Yeah,
it's too dense and it's blah for me and I'm sure for you. This is the only issue of the series I've read.
Yeah, never heard of it before.
And it's I knew of it, and I've read some things that a couple things that guest starred Nakantu, the living mummy. But I think there's some cool stuff going on here, but it's too much for one issue, and it suffers.
Yeah, and the mummy's kind of boring. I don't know. That's sort of. I'm not sure he's a good hero.
And we don't know because there's so much going on in this issue. He doesn't even do all that much.
Yeah, and you can see his facial expressions a little bit, but not much.
It's hard to do a mummy, and be expressive.
So then that's why you don't try, or have him as a sidekick or something. But
or a mummy should just be a monster that kills people.
And make an intelligent mummy with powers and an evil mummy, which would be kind of cool, but. I don't know. All right. So these elementals, who I don't know.
Oh, wait, let me give the credits here. This story is called Armageddon at the Aleph, written by John Warner, with art by Tom Sutton, who I know you're a fan of. Mm-hmm. And the art is good in this issue. But yeah. Okay,
so I don't know who the elementals are, but they're mad at the mummy and and these two chicks who are dressed in either halter tops or bikinis, and his other goober, and I don't know who he is.
The problem is there's too many characters in this.
Yeah, they're not properly explained in the first place.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I don't even know how to start to explain this.
These elementals, they want to take over the world and stuff, and they're drawing power from like another dimension or something.
Cairo is protected by or sealed in this bubble.
And Cairo is like the center of this nexus, and there's this red scarab that's a source of power that they all want or some crap. Right. And Nakantu, the living mummy, and his pals are all part of this story trying to thwart these evil elemental guys.
So there's this guy with the bug, the scarab, and he's thinking, and he sees an eye in a pyramid. And then he starts fighting him, but he doesn't know how to use the scarab, and so it's kind of messed up. Yeah. Okay. And it's a big fight.
And the elementals, they obviously the evil ones. I think there's a gal elemental who's good, but these guys use like earth and fire and water.
Yeah.
And then there's the chick who's good, who uses air.
Right, and I couldn't figure out about the chick, and so where is she coming from? And she's an elemental, and what's going on? And let's see. It looks like the mummy has super strength and super invulnerability, and that's about all I know about them.
Yeah.
So then they make Cairo disappear.
Yeah, the villains.
All right.
There's a 2-page splash in the center that is gorgeous, and this makes me think of Ditko or Jim Starlin. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely gorgeous. It'd be a great poster.
Yeah, I might turn it into one.
Cool. So they're fighting with the scarab. They don't know what's going on, and with the
scarab is the MacGuffin. It's the object of power that they're fighting over.
Mm-hmm.
But
people are being they fly everywhere. I mean, as in explosions, and then they come down and they get exploded up again, and it's kind of
now there's all this power swirling around because of the scarab and everything. The good guys, including the living mummy, figure out that they too can tap into this elemental power, and so they turn the tide on these evil elementals.
Right.
And they each have some stupid name, which I won't even.
Yeah, and they send the elementals into nothing. to I don't know,
into the ether. But there's some cosmic explodey teleportedness happening, and it looks great. But it seems like very Deus Ex Machina, so we can wrap up the series.
Yeah, and meh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if I read the one before, maybe, but
yeah,
I didn't.
Clearly, the series is only 15 issues, probably building towards this, and then wrapped up, rushed in the end.
Yeah,
and we only got this little window.
It was all fight, which is I like fights, but there's no exposition. No one was talking about the problems, so I had no idea about the people.
There's no one to identify with and care about because we have no investment in these characters. And so,
that's maybe because we just read one issue. We read the one before, maybe so, but who knows?
Yeah. So, I'd be willing to check out other issues in the series and give it a shot. But as far as this goes, it's not going to be high on my priority list.
No, I'm not going to go out of my way. If you hand me a living mummy, yeah, I'll look at it, but I'm not going to spend 5 cents on it. That's sort of, I don't know. It's just not all comic books are good, and as we found out, and oh well.
C'est la vie.
Yeah.
So, one more issue for this episode to talk about. It's back to Charlton Comics.
Yeah, the sign of quality.
Hey, Charlton Comics, give you more.
Yeah.
But more of what?
Yeah.
This issue is Strange Suspense Stories, number 59, and the lead story is called The Heat Worshipper, probably written by Joe Gill, with art by the incredibly mediocre Bill Malno.
Yeah, it's... Man, I said, what's wrong with that guy's face? We got Bojack. That's a great name, actually.
Yeah.
His face is kind of blacked out, and the rest of him is white, and so what's going on with his face? But is this the heat from a shadow or something?
Yeah, kind of works in like a steel mill.
Yeah, and he likes steel, and he doesn't even want bonuses. He works all day, and he's not affected by metal. So
or the heat.
Yeah,
he loves the heat. He can't get enough of it.
Yeah, so he goes into. He saves this guy in the steel mill, and then he takes the guy out. And
the guy almost falls into a vat of molten steel.
Right, and it doesn't bother him. And so he just ends up living in the steel mill, and the other steel workers will see him sometimes. And the metal is perfect, and the Bojack is great steel. And this is an old American story, and it's not Bojack, and I can't remember who it was, but this is a tall, legend.
Yeah, it makes you think of like John Henry or something like that.
Yeah, and there was a character, I don't know, it was Mike Hammer or something like that. I don't think it's Mike Hammer. But
Mike Hammer's like a detective character.
Right, but it's a name like that, and he boils him. He gets boiled into steel, and it turned out to be the best steel ever made, and that's about it. This is the story. So
yeah, and Bojack just ends up staying in the furnace or something at the steel mill and becomes melted in the steel.
Yeah, but he appears sometimes to help people out. And that's the story.
It's crap.
Yeah,
it's crummy. The next story in this is a little more interesting. It's called The Barking Dog. Joe Gill probably wrote it. Art by Rock Mastroserio, who is okay. His art is kind of good at sometimes. I like his inks that he does on his own work. That really helps. Interesting science fiction story. Although there's a German Shepherd in this that has looks nothing like a German Shepherd.
Yeah. Yeah, he looks like a deer.
Yeah.
He does.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right. So, but anyway, we'll carry on.
Okay. Um, I think you mentioned this last episode.
I did because I was saying like, do you use any reference at all? Like,
And they could have said, I don't know what kind of dog it is.
yeah,
A mutt would be best. That's what I would do.
but they gave a specific breed, and it's like that's not what that is at all. It doesn't look like it at all. You know,
it's totally brown.
Yeah,
And German Shepherds,
are black and brown.
yeah, and they have that face.
Yeah.
It's instantly recognizable.
Yeah, so I mean, I kind of appreciate Rockmaster Serio, maybe because the counterpoint to a lot of these Charlton issues is Bill Malno's pretty bad art, and Master Serio is he's pretty good. He's nothing like amazing, but I can appreciate his stuff.
Yeah. All right. It's kind of confusing. The barking dog. That's the story of my life.
Okay.
Because we have a little Yorkie named Dobby Tiberius, and we got him because you never know when a squirrel might come into the yard.
Right.
So that's Emo Phillips, and that's one of my favorite jokes. So.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Is he like a singer in an emo band? Who's Emo Phillips?
Oh, man, he's a goofball comedian, and I think that he would agree with that. He is super goofy, but check him out.
Okay.
All right. So the dog is barking, and stuff is happening around this people's house. This couple with a dog, the non-German Shepherd, German Shepherd,
Yeah.
and there's this couple of ghostly-looking people who are trying to. I don't know what they're doing, actually.
Yeah.
I'd never figure that out.
They're aliens from another dimension.
But what are they doing?
I think they're getting ready to conquer,
And then, what, a house? Man.
One house at a time.
Yeah. So they're turning lights on, they're starting fires. The dog's barking because he senses them.
Yeah.
And
I like the ghosting kind of effect that Master Serio makes use of. It makes... There are touches that he does. It's not as good as Ditko, but that remind me of Ditko.
I do like the evil-looking couple right here. They're just
like the ghosts from the other dimension.
Yeah, they're an evil grin. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
So they send their a spectral dog to fight our dog, and they don't see the other dog. They don't. The humans do not see anything.
Right. So the dog had been barking at the ghost because it could kind of sense that they were there.
Yeah. So he's fighting. He's going crazy. So I'll fix this. I'll throw water on him, and throwing the water on him shows the other dog.
Right. Allows the shape to come out. So yeah.
Yeah. All right. So they throw the dog up the stairs, and this is all happening in the cellar at this time. And the dog. The good dog attacks the ghost, and they
because the ghosts are solid; they're just invisible to us.
So the man of the house sprays him with spray can, and then he calls police. Hey, come along with a bunch of guys with spray cans. So,
yeah, because the cops just do that.
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Yeah, like they're going to listen to that.
Yeah.
And then those guys leave. Oh, and they do give the good people give the dog a big old steak, which made me happy.
Yay!
Good boy, Fritz.
Hopefully not with glass and antifreeze in it.
Yeah, but they're from another dimension. We don't see them often. They don't see them at all, do you? Unless you spray paint on them.
Yeah.
But then they leave, but the next time your dog is barking furiously and you can't see any reason why, stop and think. They may be out there.
Yeah. Well, and it's like, dogs do sense things that we seem not to, but we don't know what that is. And so this is kind of playing up on that. What if it's stuff from another dimension?
Alright.
So it's the 60s after all. This is like 1962, I think, 3. So the next story, although we got more meh Bill Malno art, this isn't too bad for him. It's called The Lucky Ones, and I thought this was a pretty neat science fiction story.
Yeah, okay. The Lucky Ones is this group of astronauts who are sent into space, and they're going to go forward in time and back, so they'll be back at the right time. And so the president apparently is saying, "You're the lucky ones because you'll be worshipped and never forgotten." So they go out and everything seems to be going okay. So they're happy that everything's. They go in the future. They come back, and they come in and they find out they're 200 years in the future now at Earth.
Right.
And everybody's forgotten about them. And their loved ones have died. Their girlfriends died.
Yeah.
And they thought, oh, it's a huge mess up. So, oh well. So the past is dead and the future gone. We try to beat time, and time has beaten us.
Man.
Yeah,
well, at least they didn't show up on a planet where apes evolved from men. You know?
That'd break ape law.
Right. But not bad, not bad. And the next story in this is interesting.
Indeed.
Yes. It's called Ranga's Eye, written by, probably written by Joe Gill, and art again by Bill Molyneux, who seems to dominate this issue. But it has shades of 1984.
Well, it also has shades of A Face in the Crowd, which is a Andy Griffith movie, and it's where he made his big debut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's about this country guy who is put on TV to tell a story and got super popular, and he gets political power.
Oh.
And at the time, the press was in, that'll never happen. And it did. And Andy Griffith is wonderful. And he got so into his character that it affected his social life, and his wife had to divorce him because he was so in character and all that. But it's a fantastic movie.
Wow, I would like to see that.
Yeah,
it's too bad he had to get divorced, because of it. But
art sometimes has its price, and it's very, very good. And the plot has been stolen so many times. I've seen this.
But this was the original,
right? And which is sad. Original movies, and when you go back and watch them, I've seen this, but they've been stolen so much. And same thing with comic books and all this. And it's hard to look at them with a fresh eye.
There's an old saying that applies here: "The pioneers get the arrows."
Very good.
So
I like that one.
Yeah. It's unfortunately true. And a lot of originators get forgotten, and the imitation becomes the thing that is more well known. Or just not necessarily the imitation, but the thing that has sprung from it, the inspiration, is forgotten.
Yeah.
So
I wish I could take a pill, and this goes for comic books as well, that would make me forget I've ever seen a movie or read a comic book and read them.
And with fresh eyes.
Yeah. But that tabula rasa, blank slate.
Yes.
Because that would be cool. But
it would be cool.
Cannot.
Yeah.
But I do try to give things a break. I see some old. So this hasn't been done 1,000 times like everything else. But it was done the first time. So
there you go. So
on
to Ranga's Eyes.
Okay. All right. This magician wants to be on TV, and they say no. And so the guy goes into the magician, Ranga. He is he's in the studio, and this country singer comes up and says, someone's already here. And I think that is a reference to A Face in the Crowd. So Ranga gets on and tells everybody...
because Andy Griffith was also a country singer?
But he's a country bumpkin.
Okay.
Someone's in there using studio. That looks like so. So people hear him and see him, and they start to follow him. He's hypnotic. And he gets control of the government, and he starts watching people with what does he call them? Mini cameras, compact TV cameras.
Which this is, the early '60s. This is really ahead of its time. Obviously, 1984 inspires this story, and probably also A Face in the Crowd. But that's so ahead of its time because that level of surveillance was not in existence yet. Now we have that.
Right. So this couple that are captured by Ranga's soldiers and then brought back. And apparently Ranga was escaped from an insane asylum, and he wants to go to sleep. So that's it.
Okay.
Okay, so what he really wants to do is go back to sleep because he's tired. And this is so. I don't know. It's kind of a letdown, but it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, and there was some really cool imagery of like Ranga's eyes like on posters, and it looked really eerie. It looked like Big Brother. It was really well done, like 1984.
Right.
Again, Bill Maul knows no great shakes as an artist, but he sold this story well enough. It's pretty okay.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I did think the ending was a letdown.
Yeah, although, how else are we going to do it? It's a Charlton comic.
Yeah, Charlton's pretty weak.
Charlton, excuse me. Oh, okay.
Like I said, they excelled at mediocrity.
Mm-hmm.
Occasionally you get something like that's a little bit above and beyond. You're like, hey, all right.
Yeah,
but
that's sad.
I think Joe Gill took some of these ideas he has, and they're good ones.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and I'm sure he wrote this, and fleshed them out to like book length, full issue. This could be really something kind of epic.
Indeed, yeah.
Get a better artist, and hell, even Master Serio could do an okay job and do like Ranga's Eyes as a full issue.
Yeah,
that could have been real nice.
You could have a good run with that.
Sure.
That underground and all that stuff, fighting and I hate seeing good ideas thrown away or not done. It's the saddest thing in art is something that could have been great but wasn't. And
it's just, hey, write a 6-page comic story instead of like that could have been a 6-issue arc, or this concept say now would be a really nice 12-issue limited series that was so epic and neat, with lots of subplots and characters and things, but we're looking at a different time in comics.
Yeah.
That is one of the strengths of comics of today, and a weakness of many comics of the past. So not everything that is new is crappy, and not everything that is old is good.
Right.
And I think that's an important distinction to make. This is a show about old comics, but look, there are great comic books that are happening now. Saga is an amazing comic book. The Walking Dead is great. Although I haven't read it,
I've read one. It seemed okay to me.
Yeah.
So I really don't read modern comics.
And there are plenty of others. There's great stuff out there if you look for it. So I don't know. Do we just want to wrap up?
Yeah, I guess so. Please join us next episode as you shall pay for your triumphs, as none has ever paid before.